Three bullies surround a disabled boy at a bus stop. Rain pours down. They're mocking his speech, shoving his wheelchair. Keisha Williams has 20 minutes to reach her final job interview. Miss this, she's homeless in 3 weeks. But she sees the boy's terrified eyes. Without thinking, she throws herself between them. "Leave him alone!" A fight breaks out. Her interview clothes get soaked. Her last $7, wasted on bus fare to nowhere. Her only shot at survival, gone. But she keeps fighting for this stranger. What Keisha doesn't realize, the quiet boy she just saved is about to reveal a secret that will transform her life in ways she never imagined. Because sometimes losing everything for the right reason is exactly how you gain everything you never dreamed possible. 4 hours earlier, Keisha Williams stares at her cracked bathroom mirror. Dark circles under her eyes tell the story of sleepless nights spent calculating impossible math. Rent, $800. $800. Grandmother's medical bills, $2,347. Bank account, $47. The eviction notice on her kitchen table glows like neon. 30 days, that's all she has left. Her business degree hangs crooked on the peeling wall. Community college paid for with 3 years of night shifts at Murphy's Diner. The diner closed last month when the owner couldn't afford rent either. Now she's here. 26 years old, drowning in a neighborhood that swallows dreams whole. She practices her handshake in the mirror. "Good morning, Mr. Davidson. Thank you for this opportunity." Her voice sounds steadier than she feels. This interview isn't just a job, it's life or death. The company called yesterday. "Administrative assistant position, entry level. We can see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Not glamorous, but it pays $32,000 annually, enough to survive." She puts on her grandmother's vintage blazer, navy blue, slightly faded, but still dignified, the only professional clothing she owns. Grandma wore it to church every Sunday until the cancer took her voice, then her strength, then everything else. "I'm trying, Grandma," Keisha whispers to the empty apartment. Outside her window, something catches her eye. A sleek black sedan parked across the street. Unusual for this neighborhood where most people take buses or walk. The driver wears a suit, speaking quietly into an earpiece. Strange. But everything feels strange when you're this desperate. Bus fare downtown costs $7. Her last $7. The money should go toward food, but without this job, food won't matter anyway. She grabs her portfolio, community improvement ideas she wrote in college, sustainable business practices for struggling neighborhoods, food access initiatives, job training programs, dreams that feel increasingly foolish as reality crushes hope. The walk to the bus stop takes 12 minutes. 12 minutes to rehearse her elevator pitch, to convince herself she deserves this chance, to pretend confidence she doesn't feel. At the corner store, Mrs. Patterson struggles with her walker. She's 73, takes 3 buses to reach an affordable grocery store because nothing decent exists in their neighborhood. "Morning, baby," Mrs. Patterson says. "You look important today." "Job interview," Keisha explains, helping steady the walker. "You'll get it. Good things happen to good people." Keisha wishes that were true. Good people in her neighborhood work 2 jobs and still can't pay rent. Good people watch their dreams die slowly, one unpaid bill at a time. But she smiles. "Thank you, Mrs. Patterson." Bus 47 arrives on schedule. Keisha finds a seat, opens her folder. Her thesis stares back at her. Community-driven economic development, micro-investments in sustainable growth. Academic words for simple ideas. Help people help themselves. Create opportunities where none exist. Invest in communities from the inside out. Her professor called it idealistic but impractical. Maybe he was right. Maybe solving poverty requires more than good intentions and college theories. Around her, the bus fills with familiar faces. Jerome, who fixes cars in his driveway because he can't afford certification training. Maria, who cleans office buildings at night so her kids can attend decent schools during the day. Thomas, who stocks shelves at a supermarket 40 minutes away because local stores won't hire from the neighborhood. Everyone working, everyone trying, everyone trapped by circumstances beyond their control. The interview location appears through the window, a gleaming corporate tower that represents everything her neighborhood lacks. Clean glass, fresh paint, security guards, people in expensive suits walking with purpose. She checks her reflection in her phone screen. The blazer looks professional enough. Her resume highlights volunteer work, literacy tutoring, community garden organizing, food bank assistance. Not glamorous, but it shows character. Character doesn't pay rent, but maybe it opens doors. Her phone buzzes. Text from a temp agency. Position filled, sorry. Another opportunity gone before she even knew it existed. This interview has to work. It's her final lifeline in a drowning world. The corporate tower grows larger as the bus approaches downtown. Through rain-streaked windows, she sees her future, either salvation or final defeat. Her grandmother's voice echoes in memory. "Baby, sometimes you got to help others before you can help yourself. The universe sees everything. It remembers kindness." Easy words when you have food in the refrigerator. Harder when you're counting days until homelessness. But maybe Grandma was right about one thing. Maybe the universe does see everything. Maybe it's watching right now. The bus lurches to a stop. 6 blocks to the interview. 35 minutes on the clock. Enough time if everything goes perfectly. Keisha steps off the bus into the beginning of the storm that will change everything. She just doesn't know it yet. But fate is already moving. In a specialized transport van 6 blocks away, a 12-year-old boy checks his expensive phone and notices his security detail is delayed in traffic. For the first time in 2 years, David Morrison will be alone and vulnerable, and Keisha Williams is walking straight toward the moment that will define both their lives forever. Thunder explodes overhead like a warning shot. Keisha checks her phone, 9:25 a.m., 35 minutes until her interview. The corporate tower gleams 6 blocks away through increasingly heavy rain. Her carefully planned route now faces Mother Nature's interference. She quickens her pace, clutching her portfolio against her chest. Her grandmother's blazer darkens with moisture. Each raindrop feels like time slipping away. The connecting bus stop comes into view. She needs Route 12 to reach the financial district. 5 more minutes of walking, then a short ride to salvation, or so she hopes. Rain transforms from drizzle to downpour in seconds. The flimsy bus shelter offers minimal protection. Water pools at her feet, seeps through her only good shoes. Her phone screen fogs with condensation. 9:27 a.m., still manageable if the bus arrives on schedule. That's when the specialized transport van pulls up. The hydraulic lift descends with mechanical precision. A driver in a crisp uniform helps a boy in a wheelchair navigate the platform. The boy appears 12 or 13, cerebral palsy affecting his movements but not dimming the intelligence in his eyes. His jacket bears a small embroidered crest, expensive looking, like private school uniforms. His phone isn't standard either. Something sleek, possibly custom-made with features she doesn't recognize. The boy checks his device with practiced efficiency, scanning the area as if expecting someone. His composure seems unusual for a child alone in a storm. The van driver secures the wheelchair, speaks briefly with the boy, then drives away into traffic. Now the boy waits alone. Vulnerable. That's when they arrive. 3 teenagers jog through puddles, Letterman jackets from Westbrook Prep, the elite private school across town. The leader, tall and athletic, spots the boy immediately. "Look what we got here," Tyler Richardson calls out, his voice carrying cruel amusement. "Little robot boy taking the bus like normal people." His followers, Alex and Jordan, laugh on cue, circling the wheelchair like predators sensing weakness. Keisha checks her phone again. 9:29 a.m., 31 minutes until her interview, 6 blocks away. In this rain, cutting it close. The smart move is to mind her own business, focus on survival, let someone else be the hero. But the boy tries to wheel away from his tormentors, and Tyler grabs the wheelchair handles. "Where you going, freak?" Tyler spins the chair roughly. "Can't even talk right. Bet you can't think right either." The boy's response surprises everyone. "Please, leave me alone." His words require effort, but they're clear and dignified. Not begging, requesting, as if he expects reasonable people to respond to reasonable requests. Tyler laughs louder. "Oh, it talks. Say something else, robot boy. Entertain us." Alex joins in, mimicking the boy's careful speech pattern. Jordan records with his phone, probably planning to post the cruelty online later. The boy remains calm, almost disappointingly so for his tormentors. His composure suggests this isn't his first encounter with such behavior. Keisha's internal conflict intensifies. 9:30 a.m., 30 minutes left. The rain makes everything take longer. Missing this interview means homelessness in 3 weeks. But she watches Tyler shove the wheelchair again, harder this time. The boy's expensive phone clatters to wet concrete. "Oops," Tyler says with mock concern. "Butterfingers. Maybe you should be more careful with your special toys." The boy looks at his damaged device, then up at his tormentors. Still no fear in his eyes. Just disappointment. As if he's witnessed humanity's capacity for cruelty too many times and finds it predictably boring. That's when he notices Keisha watching. Their eyes meet across the rain-soaked bus stop. His gaze holds steady, patient, waiting to see what kind of person she'll choose to be. 9:31 a.m. Keisha thinks of Mrs. Patterson struggling with her walker, of Jerome fixing cars in his driveway because certification costs too much, of every person in her neighborhood who faces daily challenges without anyone stepping up to help. She thinks of her grandmother's voice. "Baby, the universe sees everything. It remembers kindness." Easy to remember kindness when you're not risking everything you have left, but maybe that's exactly when kindness matters most. Tyler raises his hand to shove the wheelchair again, and Keisha makes her choice. The interview will have to wait. This boy needs protection now. She doesn't know that David Morrison has been testing society for 2 years through exactly these encounters. She doesn't know his security detail is delayed by a traffic accident. She doesn't know his father owns half the buildings in the financial district, including the one where her interview was supposed to happen. All she knows is that a child needs help, and she's the only one who can provide it. So Keisha Williams steps forward into the storm, about to sacrifice her future for a stranger's dignity. What she doesn't realize is that sometimes losing everything is exactly how you gain everything you never imagined possible. 9:32 a.m. 28 minutes until her interview. 6 blocks away. 6. In pouring rain. Keisha watches Tyler raise his hand to strike the wheelchair again. The boy sits calmly as if violence is just another weather pattern to endure. That's when she moves. "Hey!" Her voice cuts through the storm. "Back off, now!" Tyler spins around, surprised. He's 17, 6'2", athletic from years of prep school sports. His followers flank him like wolves. "What's it to you, lady?" Tyler's tone drips condescension. "You his mommy?" Keisha steps between the bullies and the wheelchair. Rain immediately soaks through her blazer, her grandmother's vintage jacket, the only professional clothing she owns. Her phone screen shows 9:33 a.m. Her carefully pressed slacks darken with moisture. Her resume folder grows soggy in her hands. "He's a kid," she says simply. "You're bullying a disabled kid. How does that make you feel about yourselves?" Alex laughs. "Like we're having fun. Mind your own business, lady." But Keisha positions herself as a human shield. "This is my business. When I see someone being hurt, it becomes my business." Tyler steps closer, using his height to intimidate. "You picked the wrong day to play hero. We're just having a conversation with Robot Boy here." "Conversation's over." Keisha's voice stays steady despite her racing heart. 9:34 a.m. The interview slips further away with each passing second. Tyler shoves the wheelchair harder, trying to get around her. The boy's phone skitters across wet concrete, expensive technology hitting unforgiving pavement. That's when Keisha stops calculating costs. She moves like lightning. When Alex lunges forward to grab the wheelchair, she sidesteps and uses his momentum against him. He sprawls into a puddle, Letterman jacket soaked with dirty rainwater. Jordan tries to circle behind her. She pivots, keeping herself between all threats and the boy. Her grandmother's blazer stretches at the seams. Her only good shoes splash through deepening puddles. "You crazy?" Tyler shouts. "You're gonna get hurt for some freak you don't even know?" "I know enough," Keisha replies. "I know he's a child. I know you're old enough to make better choices." Throughout the chaos, something strange happens. The boy, David, doesn't cower or cry. He watches everything with analytical precision. When Tyler drops his student ID during the scuffle, David memorizes every detail. Names, school affiliation, graduation year. His expensive jacket falls open, revealing not just quality clothing but something else. A small, discreet device clipped inside. Security equipment, the kind worn by people who expect professional protection. But Keisha's too focused on the immediate threat to notice. 9:36 a.m., 24 minutes left. Her interview outfit is ruined. Her resume is soggy. Her last chance at salvation dissolves like ink in rain. Alex gets back up, muddy and angry. "You're gonna pay for that!" He rushes her again. This time, Keisha's not quick enough. His shoulder catches her in the ribs, sending her stumbling. She recovers quickly, but her blazer tears at the elbow. Jordan joins the attack from the other side. Now she's fighting two teenagers while Tyler menaces the wheelchair. "Stop," David says quietly. His voice is careful, deliberate, not pleading, commanding. Something in his tone makes everyone pause. "Tyler Richardson, Alex Brennan, Jordan Walsh." David recites their names with perfect clarity. "Westbrook Prep Seniors. Your parents will receive detailed reports about this incident." Tyler laughs nervously. "How do you—" "Alex, your father is Michael Brennan, partner at Brennan & Associates law firm. Jordan, your mother is Dr. Sarah Walsh, cardiovascular surgeon at Presbyterian Hospital. Tyler, your family owns Richardson Construction." The bullies exchange worried glances. How does this random disabled kid know their personal information? But they're committed now. Tyler grabs the wheelchair handles again. "Shut up, freak. Nobody cares what you know." That's when the city bus approaches through the storm. Keisha sees salvation and opportunity. "Get on that bus!" she shouts at the bullies. "Leave now or I'm calling the police!" Tyler hesitates. The bus stops, doors opening, other passengers board, oblivious to the drama at the shelter. "This isn't over," Tyler threatens, but he's backing toward the bus. "Yes," David says with quiet certainty. "It is." Something in the boy's calm confidence makes Tyler pause. Then Alex tugs his arm. "Come on, man. We're going to be late for practice." The three bullies board the bus, shooting venomous looks back at Keisha and David. The doors close and they disappear into city traffic. Keisha stands in the rain, breathing hard. Her phone shows 9:38 a.m., 22 minutes until her interview. 6 blocks away, soaking wet, professional clothes destroyed. Her last $7 spent on bus fare to nowhere. She kneels beside David's wheelchair. "Are you okay?" He nods, his expression grateful but strangely composed. "Thank you. Most people don't stop." "Most people should." David retrieves his phone from the puddle. The screen is cracked but still functional. "I want to thank you properly. My father would want to know what you did." Keisha helps him straighten his expensive jacket. "You don't owe me anything, that's just being human." He pulls out a business card, elegant heavy stock, waterproof apparently. "Please, take this. Call the number." She glances at it. "Nathaniel Morrison, executive assistant. No company name, just a phone number and an exclusive district address." "I can't accept anything for doing the right thing," she says, trying to hand it back. "Please," David insists. His eyes are serious, older than his years. "My name is David Morrison. Just keep the card. You might need it." The surname sounds familiar, but Keisha's overwhelmed by mounting losses. She takes the card to comfort him. 9:40 a.m. She calls the interview company from her cracked phone screen. "I'm so sorry, there was an emergency. I can't make the appointment." The receptionist is kind but firm. "I'm sorry, Miss Williams. Mr. Davidson can't reschedule for 2 weeks, and we're making decisions by Friday." Another door closes. Another chance gone. The specialized transport van returns through the storm. As David is helped aboard, he looks back at Keisha standing alone in the rain. "You'll hear from us soon, Keisha Williams." She's surprised he caught her name during the chaos. As the van disappears into traffic, Keisha realizes what she's lost. Her last chance at employment, her professional clothes, her final $7, all sacrificed for a stranger who seemed oddly unafraid of 3 dangerous bullies. But sometimes losing everything is exactly how you gain everything you never imagined possible. She just doesn't know it yet. Keisha stands alone in the downpour, reality crashing over her harder than the rain. Her phone buzzes with notifications. 17 missed calls from temp agencies while she fought 3 bullies. She returns them with desperate hope, only to hear identical messages. "Position filled. Sorry. We'll keep your resume on file." Each rejection hits like a physical blow, her last safety nets disappearing while she helped a stranger. Her grandmother's blazer clings to her skin, torn at the elbow where Alex grabbed her. The vintage fabric, irreplaceable, damaged beyond repair. Water pools in her only good shoes. She checks her bank account. $40 remaining after bus fare, rent due in 26 days. The business card David gave her grows soggy in her trembling fingers. Heavy paper stock, expensive quality. Nathaniel Morrison, executive assistant. The address belongs to the city's most exclusive financial district. She Googles the name on her cracked phone screen. Nothing specific appears, just vague references to private wealth management and family offices. The Morrison surname tugs at her memory, but exhaustion clouds her thinking. What has she done? Sacrificed everything for one moment of moral clarity? Her phone rings. Unknown number. Miss Williams? This is Nathaniel Morrison. David asked me to call. His voice carries crisp authority. Old money. Real power. The tone of someone accustomed to immediate respect. I don't understand. I just helped a kid. That's all. Yes, ma'am. That's exactly why I'm calling. Would you be available for a meeting tomorrow morning, 10 a.m.? Keisha's mind races. I can't afford to miss another interview opportunity. We're aware of your schedule, Miss Williams. This won't conflict with your other appointments. How could they possibly know about her schedule? She hasn't told anyone about tomorrow's interviews. Okay. Where? He provides an address in the financial district's most exclusive building. Ask for me at reception. They'll be expecting you. After hanging up, Keisha tries researching Morrison family again. Her phone freezes, then restarts itself. When it boots up, her browser history for that search has been completely wiped. Strange. But everything feels strange when you're this desperate. Walking home takes 45 minutes through the storm. No money left for bus fare. Her interview clothes grow heavier with each step. At her apartment building, she notices a dark SUV parked across the street. Different from this morning's sedan, but the same professional surveillance feel. When she looks directly at it, the vehicle pulls away smoothly. Someone is watching her. But why? Inside her studio apartment, she peels off the damaged blazer. The torn fabric tells the story of her sacrifice, ruined for a stranger's dignity. 17 job rejection emails wait in her inbox. Companies filling positions while she fought bullies in the rain. She sits at her kitchen table staring at the eviction notice. 26 days until homelessness. $40 to last until... What? There is no until. This was her last chance. David Morrison's business card lies beside the notice. Even waterlogged, the paper quality is remarkable. It feels like currency itself. She could call the number, accept whatever David's family is offering. But accepting charity for doing the right thing feels wrong. Her grandmother's voice echoes in memory. Baby, pride don't pay rent, but kindness always comes back around. Easy words when you're not facing eviction. But maybe Grandma understood something about timing, about how the universe rewards people who protect others even when protection costs everything. Keisha looks out her window at the street where the SUV was parked. Empty now, but she feels watched, protected maybe, or monitored. Either way, her life has shifted into territory she doesn't understand. Tomorrow morning, she'll discover why David Morrison seemed so calm during the attack, why bullies knew to fear his family name, why her act of kindness triggered phone calls from executive assistants and surveillance vehicles. Tonight, she just knows she's broke, jobless, and facing homelessness in less than a month. But sometimes losing everything is the first step toward gaining everything you never imagined possible. She places David's card on her bedside table and tries to sleep, unaware that powerful algorithms are already scrubbing her digital footprints from the internet. Some families have resources that can rewrite search results. The Morrison family can rewrite much more than that. Keisha wakes at 3 a.m., still wearing damp clothes. The eviction notice glows in streetlight. 25 days remaining. She tries researching David Morrison again. Her laptop crashes completely. When it restarts, not only is her browser history wiped, her entire search function is disabled. Someone doesn't want her finding information about the Morrison family. At 6 a.m., her phone buzzes. Text from unknown number. Car will arrive at 9:30 a.m. No need to respond. She never gave anyone her address. Looking outside, she spots the same black SUV from last night. Different parking spot, same professional surveillance. The driver wears an earpiece, watches her building with military precision. She tries calling David's business card number. It rings once, then transfers. You have reached Morrison Holdings. This call is being recorded and analyzed. Morrison Holdings. The name triggers a college memory, something from business journals. But the harder she tries to remember, the foggier it becomes. Her neighbor, Mrs. Lane, knocks. Keisha, honey, men in suits asked about you yesterday evening. Said they were conducting employment background checks. What questions? Character references. How long you've lived here. Community volunteer work. Very thorough. More thorough than normal job interviews require. At 8 a.m., another text. Dress professionally. Meeting may run longer than expected. How do they know she needs professional clothes? Her ruined blazer hangs over a chair, testament to yesterday's sacrifice. She borrows a jacket from Mrs. Lane and walks to the bus stop, the same corner where everything changed. In daylight, it looks ordinary, but at exactly 9:30 a.m., a Blacktown car arrives, not Uber or taxi, something more expensive. The driver wears a chauffeur's uniform. Miss Williams, Mr. Morrison is expecting you. Leather seats, privacy glass, bottled water that costs more than her daily food budget. During the ride, she notices two other vehicles following at discreet distances. A security escort she never requested. The destination, a glass tower in the financial district's most exclusive area. The kind of building where her neighborhood zip code normally bars entry. As they approach the marble entrance, Keisha sees her reflection in the privacy glass. 26 years old, wearing borrowed clothes, about to meet people with resources she can't comprehend. Yesterday, she was nobody, a desperate job seeker willing to sacrifice everything for a stranger's dignity. Today, she's riding in luxury cars with security escorts to meetings in towers that touch the sky. What has she stumbled into? And why does helping one disabled boy require this level of sophisticated response from people who can apparently rewrite internet search results and conduct background investigations overnight? She's about to discover who David Morrison really is, and why her moment of courage triggered attention from a family whose power extends far beyond anything she imagined possible. The elevator requires a special key card for the top floor. Nathaniel Morrison, 50s, impeccably dressed, escorts her upward in silence. Keisha's borrowed jacket feels shabby in this polished environment. The doors open to a penthouse office overlooking the entire city. Floor-to-ceiling windows, museum-quality art, furniture worth more than most people's annual salary. Behind an enormous mahogany desk sits a man she recognizes but can't place. 50s, wheelchair-bound like his son, but radiating authority that fills the room. Miss Williams, he says, I'm James Morrison, David's father. The name hits like lightning. Morrison Holdings, one of the largest private investment firms on the West Coast. Hotels, technology, renewable energy, commercial real estate. When Morrison Holdings makes acquisitions, it's front-page business news. James Morrison isn't just wealthy, he's one of the most powerful private citizens in the entire state. Her mouth goes dry. You're that Morrison. I am. And you're the woman who protected my son yesterday. David wheels into the room, same boy from the bus stop, but now in his natural environment. This isn't a random disabled kid from a struggling family. This is the heir to a business empire worth billions. Hi, Keisha, David says, more confident in familiar surroundings. The pieces click together with devastating clarity. The expensive jacket, the custom phone, the strange composure during the attack, the way he memorized the bully's personal information. David Morrison has resources most people can't imagine. David has cerebral palsy, James continues. He also has an IQ of 160, speaks 4 languages, and is being prepared to eventually help run our philanthropic foundation. But none of that mattered to those boys yesterday. They saw his wheelchair and decided he was powerless. Keisha's head spins. So when I helped him, you helped the son of one of the wealthiest families in America, Nathaniel confirms. Without knowing. Without expecting anything in return. James leans forward. David travels with discreet security. Professional protection always nearby. Yesterday, his detail was delayed in traffic due to a staged accident. For exactly 12 minutes, he was alone and vulnerable. The surveillance makes sense now. You set this up? Not specifically, James says carefully, but we regularly test social environments. David takes public transport, shops in regular stores, attends community events. We need to know, is this a world where our son can live safely, where kindness exists naturally? David speaks up, his voice stronger in this setting. In 2 years, 47 incidents of harassment or bullying, people recording with phones to post online 36 times, people walking away and ignoring it 46 times, people helping because it was right. He pauses, meeting her eyes. One time, yesterday, you. The statistics hit like physical blows. 47 times this child faced cruelty. 46 times society failed him completely. Once, just once, someone stepped up. So I ruined my life for a social experiment. Her voice carries exhaustion and growing anger. James's expression softens. You ruined nothing, Miss Williams. You revealed everything. About yourself, about society, about what courage looks like when it costs everything you can't afford to lose. Nathaniel slides a folder across the desk. We had you investigated after yesterday's incident. Given what we're considering, we needed to understand exactly who you are. Inside, her credit history, employment records, college transcripts, character references somehow obtained, but also detailed reports on her volunteer literacy work, her thesis on community development, her reputation among neighbors. Remarkable, James says quietly. 26 years old, student loans paid through night shifts. Cared for your grandmother through her final illness while maintaining your GPA. Volunteer tutor for 3 years. Despite every reason to become bitter about systemic inequities, you remain someone who steps up for strangers. The investigation's thoroughness unsettles her. How did you get all this information? Resources, James says simply. When someone protects our family, we learn everything about them. David adds. The Bullies. We contacted Westbrook Prep immediately. Tyler Richardson, Alex Brennan, Jordan Walsh, all 3 expelled. Their parents called us, offered donations, begged for second chances. And? James's smile turns cold. We don't negotiate with cowardice, Miss Williams. Ever. The power in that statement is staggering. 3 families destroyed with a single phone call. Prep school reputations ruined. College prospects eliminated. All because they hurt the wrong child. Tyler's father owns Richardson Construction, David continues. They just lost their biggest contract, renovating Morrison Hotels properties. Alex's father's law firm, we were their largest client. Not anymore. Jordan's mother is a surgeon, James adds. She'll find her hospital research funding has mysteriously dried up. Keisha feels sick. You destroyed their lives. They destroyed themselves, James corrects. We simply ensured their actions had appropriate consequences. The scope of Morrison power becomes clear. They don't just have money, they have influence that can reshape entire families' futures with phone calls. But you, David says, excitement in his voice, you get rewarded. That's when she understands. This isn't just gratitude. This is recruitment. The Morrisons don't just want to thank her. They want to hire her. But for what? And at what cost to her soul? What do you want from me? She asks quietly. James smiles, the first genuinely warm expression she's seen from him. Miss Williams, we want to give you the resources to do what you've always dreamed of doing. We want to see what happens when someone who truly understands struggle gets the power to eliminate it. He pauses, letting the words sink in. We want to change your life, and through you, we want to change the world. We want to offer you a position, James begins, his tone shifting to pure business. Director of Community Investment for the Morrison Foundation. Keisha's breath catches. I don't understand. Our foundation invests in community development, sustainable business practices, job training programs, microloan initiatives, food access projects. He pauses meaningfully. Everything you wrote about in your college thesis. You read my thesis? Nathaniel opens another folder. We read everything, Miss Williams. Your academic work isn't just theoretical. It's precisely what we've been attempting to implement, unsuccessfully, for 3 years. David wheels closer, excitement radiating from him. The foundation has $200 million in community investment funds, but every program we've tried has failed. Failed how? Keisha asks. James sighs. We're wealthy people throwing money at problems we've observed but never lived. You've lived those problems. You understand solutions from the inside out. The magnitude starts sinking in. $200 million, more money than her entire neighborhood sees in a decade. Starting salary, $150,000 annually, Nathaniel states matter-of-factly. Full health benefits, continuing education fund, performance bonuses tied to measurable community impact. Keisha's current rent is $800 monthly. This salary would eliminate every financial pressure crushing her for years. But the real opportunity, James continues, is a $50 million pilot program budget. 5 years to prove your community development model works. If successful, we scale it nationally. $50 million. The power to transform not just her life, but hundreds of lives. Why me? She whispers. You could hire consultants with decades of experience, policy experts with advanced degrees. We have hired experts, David says with obvious frustration. MBA consultants who've never missed a meal, policy researchers who studied poverty from university libraries. They create programs poor people don't want and can't use. James nods. David chose you, Miss Williams. Not because you helped him, though that matters enormously, but because of how you helped him. You saw injustice and acted without hesitation, without calculation, without any expectation of reward. The weight of their attention feels overwhelming. I'm not qualified. I've never managed budgets this size, never run programs affecting hundreds of people. You'll have complete support, Nathaniel assures her. A full team of analysts, program coordinators, legal advisors. But the vision, the direction, the community understanding, that comes from you. David's eyes shine with possibility. What if you succeed? What if you prove someone who understands struggle can solve struggle better than people who only study it? James shares quietly. My grandfather was a Chinese immigrant who built corner grocery stores. My mother survived polio when disabled people were hidden away. They succeeded because their community supported them, invested in their potential when banks wouldn't. We've been wealthy for 2 generations now, he continues. Wealthy enough to lose touch with what community support actually looks like at ground level. David's condition reminds us that vulnerability exists at every economic level, but resources can eliminate most vulnerability for most people. The personal connection moves her. This isn't just business, it's legacy. Your neighborhood will be our pilot site, Nathaniel confirms. Food access initiatives, job training programs, small business microloans, after-school programs, elderly support services. Everything you described in your thesis, fully funded and professionally supported. David can barely contain his excitement. We already purchased the building where the grocery store closed, also the adjacent property, and the failing laundromat next door. Keisha's mind reels. You're talking about transforming my entire community. We're talking about letting you transform it, James corrects, with resources equal to your vision. She thinks of her neighbors. Mrs. Patterson taking 3 buses to reach affordable groceries. Jerome brilliant with engines but unable to afford certification training. Kids hanging out at corners because nowhere safe exists after school. All the problems she's watched but felt powerless to solve. This is real? She asks, voice barely audible. This is real, James confirms. The question is whether you're ready to discover what's possible when someone who truly understands community needs has resources to address them systematically. The fear creeps in. What if I fail? David answers immediately. What if you don't? James slides another document across the desk. We'd like an answer within 48 hours. Community programs could begin within 60 days of your acceptance. She opens the folder. Detailed program descriptions, salary breakdown, benefit structure. Also a preliminary list of the first 12 families they'd like to assist. She hasn't recommended any families yet. David researched your literacy tutoring, James explains. He identified people you've consistently tried to help over the years. Consider it a starting point. The thoroughness is staggering. They know more about her volunteer work than she remembers herself. There is one condition, James adds, total transparency. Every decision, every program, every success and failure documented and published. We're not interested in charity that makes us feel good. We want sustainable change that actually works. The accountability feels right. You want proof that community investment can work. We want you to prove it, David corrects. Because if you succeed here, we replicate this model in 50 cities, maybe 100. The scope takes her breath away, not just her neighborhood, but neighborhoods across America. And if I fail? James's expression grows serious. Then we learn from failure and try again. But Miss Williams, looking at your track record of stepping up when others step away, failure seems unlikely. He stands from his wheelchair, moving to the window overlooking the city. Yesterday, you sacrificed everything for a stranger's dignity. Today, we're offering you the power to ensure no one else has to make that choice between survival and kindness. The offer hangs in the air like possibility itself. Transform her community. Change the national conversation about poverty. Prove that people who understand struggle can solve it better than those who study it. All because she stepped up when others stepped away. 6 months later, Keisha's neighborhood looks like a different world. The old Pack and Save building gleams with fresh paint and the sign Community Fresh Market. Local suppliers, fair prices, produce that doesn't require 3 bus transfers. Mrs. Patterson wheels her cart down aisles that smell of possibility instead of desperation. "Honey, I can walk to buy fresh vegetables now," she tells Keisha during a visit. First time in 15 years. Keisha's first hire. 12 neighbors, including Jerome as facilities manager. His natural engineering talent translates perfectly to refrigeration systems and building maintenance. He wears a company polo shirt with pride, finally certified and earning $45,000 annually. "Never thought fixing cars would lead to this," he grins, troubleshooting the walk-in cooler. "But engines are engines, right?" Next door buzzes the Morrison Community Skills Center. Computer literacy, certification programs, resume workshops. The same space where teenagers loitered now hums with adults learning programming, elderly residents mastering smartphones, high school students earning college credits. Maria, the night janitor, attends accounting classes 3 evenings weekly. "My kid's gonna see their mama get a real career," she says, practicing spreadsheet formulas. David visits weekly, wheeling through the center with obvious joy. His cerebral palsy becomes secondary to his clear intelligence and genuine enthusiasm. Kids gather around him asking about coding and business applications. "Mr. David, how do you make apps?" 8-year-old Jasmine asks. David patiently explains programming basics, his careful speech no longer seeming like limitation, just thoughtful communication. The third building houses small business incubation. Mrs. Rodriguez finally opens her catering service with professional kitchen access. Marcus launches his landscaping company with equipment loans. The beauty salon reopens under new management. 3 women who completed business planning courses. Every loan includes mentorship. Every business launch includes community support. Local news covers the transformation. Morrison Foundation's revolutionary community investment model. Keisha appears on camera, professional but unmistakably from the community she serves. "The secret isn't throwing money at problems," she explains to the reporter. "It's listening to people who live those problems every day." National business publications take notice. Inside-out community development, when lived experience meets serious resources. Harvard Business Review requests a detailed case study. The ripple effects exceed every projection. Crime drops 35% in the 6-block pilot area, not through increased policing, but because people have destinations, employment, reasons for hope. Local elementary school test scores improve measurably. Dr. Williams, the principal, calls Keisha personally. "Whatever you're doing, it's working. Kids are coming to school fed, rested, and ready to learn. Property values rise, but anti-displacement policies ensure longtime residents benefit rather than suffer from improvements." Keisha moves to a comfortable 2-bedroom apartment 4 blocks away, still embedded in her community but no longer anxious about eviction notices. She drives a reliable car but often takes the bus, maintaining connection to neighbors' daily realities. The Bullies face consequences beyond expulsion. Tyler Richardson serves court-ordered community service at the Skills Center, initially resentful, gradually changed by exposure to people he once dismissed. He works alongside David during visits, conversations awkward but increasingly respectful. "I was wrong about you," Tyler admits one afternoon, helping David navigate the computer lab. "You were wrong about yourself," David replies gently. "Good thing people can change." The success metrics become undeniable. Employment up 45%, small business creation up 180%, community college enrollment doubled, violent crime eliminated entirely in the pilot zone. James and Keisha meet weekly to review data and refine expansion plans. 12 cities request pilot programs. The waiting list includes 40 more municipalities. The model works because you understand both the problems and the solutions, James tells her during one meeting. Harvard consultants study poverty from libraries. You lived it from kitchen tables. Other foundations send delegations to study the methodology. Policymakers request presentations. University researchers write papers about the Morrison model. David, now 13, moves confidently through community spaces. The neighborhood that once ignored his victimization now actively protects and includes him. Children wave when his transport passes, invite him to extend visits, ask technical questions about his adaptive technologies. His security detail operates more openly now, not because danger increased, but because David requested visibility. I want people to understand that protection isn't about weakness, he explains to his father. It's about community caring for each other systematically. The pilot program's stunning success creates national attention. Keisha's thesis, once dismissed as idealistic but impractical, becomes required reading in social policy programs. What began as traditional charity evolved into community-controlled economic development. Residents increasingly make programming decisions through neighborhood councils. The Morrison Foundation provides resources. Community members provide direction. The transformation proves a simple truth. When someone who understands struggle gets resources to address it, miracles stop being surprises and start being systematic solutions. 18 months later, Keisha stands at the same bus stop where everything began. The intersection looks transformed. Weather-protected shelter, digital arrival boards, emergency communication, community safety infrastructure replacing urban neglect. A bronze plaque reads, "Community investment begins with community care. Morrison Foundation pilot site, #1. She drives a reliable car now, but sometimes waits here by choice, remembering the vulnerability of depending entirely on public transportation. Today, history repeats with different players. 3 eighth graders surround a boy with autism, mocking his stimming behaviors and communication app. The boy looks frightened, isolated, exactly like David 18 months ago. Before Keisha can intervene, a familiar figure steps forward. Tyler Richardson, now 18, positions himself between the bullies and their target. "Back off," he says firmly. "Find something better to do." The younger bullies recognize him, former Westbrook prep student, local reputation. "Tyler, why do you care about some autistic freak?" Tyler's response carries authority earned through months of community service. "Because that's what decent people do. You protect people who need protection." David arrives with Keisha for a program visit. Now 14, he moves through community spaces with confidence impossible that rainy morning. He watches Tyler's intervention with satisfaction. "Full circle," he tells Keisha quietly. "Almost there," she replies. Tyler helps the autistic boy with his communication app, calls his parents, exchanges contact information for future support. The same protection Keisha offered David, now naturally extended by someone who once embodied the problem. "Your program works," David observes. "People work," Keisha corrects. "The program just creates conditions where people can become who they want to be." 18 cities now operate Morrison Community Investment Centers. The application process for community directors is highly competitive. First, screening question. Describe a time you helped someone without expecting reward. They're seeking people like Keisha, individuals who instinctively step up when others step away. David was accepted to MIT's early admission but deferred 2 years. "I want to work in all 18 centers first. I need to understand what we've built before helping design what comes next." As their bus arrives, they still take public transportation to maintain community connection, Keisha reflects, "That morning in the rain, I thought I was protecting a kid from bullies. I didn't know I was protecting the catalyst for systematic change." David nods. "Maybe that's the point. Real kindness doesn't calculate consequences, it just acts on moral clarity." They board together, community director and foundation heir, both riding buses because it keeps them grounded in daily realities of people they serve. Somewhere in the city, another moment of unexpected courage is about to set extraordinary changes in motion. When protection becomes community standard rather than individual choice, transformation stops being surprising and starts being inevitable. Keisha's story proves that heroism isn't about having advantages. It's about having moral clarity to act when someone vulnerable needs protection. Every day there are Davids waiting at bus stops, Tylers who could choose growth over cruelty, and Keishas who possess power to change everything through one principled moment. The question isn't whether you'll encounter injustice or indifference. The question is, when you witness someone being diminished, will you step forward or step away? Your intervention might be noticed by someone with resources to transform communities, or it might simply transform one person's understanding of human dignity. Both matter equally. What would you have done in Keisha's situation? Would you sacrifice your last chance for a stranger's safety? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Like this video if you believe in choosing courage over comfort. Subscribe to Black Voices Uncut for more stories proving ordinary people create extraordinary change. Share this with someone who needs to remember that heroes look exactly like them. The next bus stop is waiting. Will you be the one who steps forward?
At Black Voices Uncut, we don't polish away the pain or water down the message. We tell it like it is because the truth deserves nothing less. If today's story spoke to you, click like, join the conversation in the comments, and subscribe so you'll be here for the next Uncut Voice.